No dummy, no problem. Today we're modifying a mold for an overlapping inner boot without the use of a dummy. I'm breaking down the entire process step by step and sharing various tips and tricks for optimal outcomes, so your AFOs can also look like this. So starting out, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing the cast from the mold, just following standard procedure wherever you are, and smoothing out that mold just as you normally would. Next, I like to take plaster bandage for my buildups. We're going to be doing buildups over the bony prominences. Plaster bandage is just a really easy way to get the same thicknesses on both sides, get the exact thickness you want without having to measure with a nail or wasting nails. This also is a little bit of a smoother application and more anatomically accurate. It's really easy to achieve the thickness you want with this folding method. I found it's very reproducible and easy to follow for everyone. The key here is after you fold it initially, you want to fold it over one more time just to get that exact thickness. Once you apply it, I like to add the raw edge towards the posterior and the folded over edge towards the anterior. You just want to make this as anatomically accurate as possible. No rough edges, just try to blend it in with the mold. So then after I finish up with my bony prominence buildups, I'm gonna get ready to pour my toe plate. So I like to use wax paper, dissection pins, these prefabricated molds in different sizes. I need a piece of foam under the wax paper to put the pins into, and then a ruler to check the finished length of my AFO. Here you just want to secure your mold upright, and then you're going to attach the template to the finished length and pin it in place. I like to leave some space if there's no club or reverse club, but you can make it flush with the mold if you have one of those types of trims. And this method's just a great way to keep your toe plate consistent among all your AFOs, especially bilaterally. Next, we're going to build up for that inner boot overlap. You're going to take 4-inch plaster bandage and lay it out to the desired height of your inner boot. Fold it over once and cut. Then you will fold it over twice more to have one long strip. This is your one buildup you don't need to round out. I like to keep mine square for easier mods in the next step. It's about 1 centimeter of a buildup that we're making. This buildup and resultant mods from smoothing it out should add 3 centimeters to your instep circumference. So it's important that you meet that or you just won't get the right overlap. And here's where you start to lay down the plaster, filling in the space you created between the medial lateral sides of the mold and that interior buildup we just placed. I like to create a complete 90-degree angle with the plaster, let it set up almost fully, and then I scrape away with a Sureform at a 45-degree angle, just like you would in CAD, and it keeps a consistent buildup on either side and from AFO to AFO. After you further round out that 45-degree angle, you want to smooth out the medial lateral sides of the mold and even add your trim lines along the sides here for easy donning. Your goal is to keep that anterior buildup blended in with the anatomy as much as you can. Remember, you're focusing on adding over the anterior and smoothing out over your other buildups on the bony prominences. We don't want too much plaster elsewhere or the device won't fit. In the end, it should look like this. Double check that your instep measurement is around 3 centimeters greater and you're good to send it to the oven. The key steps in thermoforming your inner boot include using a wicking material such as stockinette and saran wrap. That way you'll only need to use enough Orthoflex to cover the SMO height inner trim lines, not the full AFO height cast. A strong vacuum here is key to having a straight seam to cut on. If your vacuum pulls less than 10 psi, this will be very difficult, as you can see here, because my vacuum was not very strong. To remove the inner boot, just use a really strong knife and cut along that seam carefully over multiple passes. I like to leave as much as possible. You can definitely draw your trim lines on here, but in this case, I opted not to. Once you've ensured your mold is smooth again, you can pull the outer shell by your normal procedure. Some tips I have are to utilize a thermometer before pulling and before you cut your AFO free from the mold. It is best practice to wait for it to cool to 90 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent deformation and warping of your finished products. Finishing touches are going to be trimming, skiving, and strapping.